Hi, everybody. Welcome to Culturama, the first day of it, and the last session. Remember to come tomorrow for a whole bunch of other sessions. They're up on the Culturama community page. This evening and every Friday of Culturama, we're going to have everyone's favorite human being, which is T. Anders Carson. T. Anders Carson has been coming to Culturama for how long, Anders? 10, 15 years.
For a number of years. You're correct. Yeah, yay!
Absolutely.
I love it. Culturama rocks in all its forms.
He's one of our favorite returning people, and he's one of the most inspiring poets and workshop leaders that I know. You are going to get a whole bunch of really good prompts today. You should check out his books. What's your latest book, Anders?
My latest book is called Unfortunately, Thanks for Everything by Pelicanesis Press. And you know, one of the Culturama helped me get in touch with the publisher for that book. It was through the contacts of being at a Culturama event. So it's important to stay in touch.
That's great. Yeah. Pelicanesis Press is the same as Bamboo Dart Press. So we've got a lot of people in the Bamboo Dart Pelicanesis family here tonight. So I'm just going to hand it over to you, Anders. You're on mute there, Anders.
Yep.
Okay, there you go.
Because my internet was going unstable and I went, I do live up in the sticks. I do live up in the sticks. So good. Hello from the up in Canada. And actually this morning I had to shovel snow to get to my car. We're already there. Like, I can't believe we're already there. And it's like November the 7th. And I went, we need to get our scrapers and I went, oh my gosh, we got to find those scrapers. And of course, last year's scraper is never as good as the brand new ones. They're all kind of like a walrus, you know, and it's not, but I got it. I have to share with you, if you don't have a scraper, you know what we use up in Canada? A credit card.
Oh my goodness.
And I can remember a story I'm going to share with you when I was a teenager. Don't try this at home, but I remember driving to school and I only got this big out of my front windshield with my credit card. And then I would come to the stop sign, wait, count to 3, and then go, because I couldn't see anything. It was only in Canada. And it was like a big snowstorm, but I got to school. So so I wanted to share, I've been writing for a number of years and I love coming to Culturama. And so this evening, we're going to write some poems. So if you can get out that fresh piece of paper, or if you're got the computer, get those fingers all ready. We're going to write something brand new today. And I was thinking of, let's try this one. And I've been thinking about this one. Your first concert. Now it can be like a classical concert or a rock concert or a punk or ska or new wave or reggae or, you know, like first concert. Why don't you try to, because one of the things as writers, what are we going to write about today? Like what's like, so let's go back in time. Your first concert, what was it? So let's do it and go. Okay, we'll give it a little bit more. It's a fun one. I know. Concerts. Yes. All right. How was that one, folks? Anyone want to give it a whirl? I saw a hand up. Somebody. See, I'm still learning how to do these things.
That's Perry. Perry's got her hand up.
Perry does. Okay, Perry, give it a whirl.
Oh, you know what? I think Perry's sound system, we can't hear her.
Yeah, there we go. Can you hear
Oh,
me now?
yeah, we can.
Okay,
There,
sorry, I was
now we
just
can
on
hear you.
mute. There we go. Okay, so my first concert. The music drums almost tangible in the air, arms and legs flailing in manic ecstasy as small truths permeate our dripping pores. Sweat and stale beer keeps us loose and fast as we bounce into each other like celestial bodies, making ripples in the macrosphere. We never believed in miracles until tonight, with scrapes and bruises painting our limbs and trunks, roots ripped from the earth as we soar, thoughtless. And that's all I got.
Beautiful, beautiful. Oops.
Awesome. Thank you. Anybody else want to give it a try? Let's do it here. I know we're getting ready. Get those juices going. And John's watching too. And I see Nina. I saw Nina's hand go up. And then I saw, yeah, I saw. Awesome. Good.
I think Dennis is
Nina said
Dennis.
she was,
Oh, it's Daniel. It's Daniel.
she
Daniel.
said- yeah, Nina said she was just clapping.
Okay.
Okay, well, this is hard to do because I think it's really shitty, but I'm going to do it anyway.
Okay.
Body parts linked to instruments blasting make dance a cinch when you're stoned. But electric destroys any ability to hear soft acoustic and heart song for long. What may have happened had I been myself instead of someone else in a drug land of make-believe? Who might I have become today had I allowed the moments to define themselves without controlling perspectives or fears?
Thank you, Daniel. Anybody else want to give it a try?
Oh, Frances has her hand up.
Francis, I saw Francis's hand. Yes, I did.
Hi, how you doing?
Good to see you.
Good. All right, this is a real quickie. Is probably more crappy than the other ones, but that's okay. I don't mind writing crappy poems. No money, no ride, but to Griffith Park we go. I beg my friend's brother. Now I have his homework to do. Neil Diamond is playing at the Greek Amphitheater, and we are going to sneak in from the observatory lot. We become the famous tree people who Diamond addressed in his album he recorded for posterity that night.
Yes. That's awesome. Thank you, Francis. Anybody else? Looking for hands? No, that's okay. I can share mine. Mine is kind of, I don't know where it came from. The Osmonds. I was only 7 years, I'm serious. I was only 7 years old. Wolfman Jack opened up and it was loud, loud, loud. And I remember putting my hands over my ears and complaining about the noise, almost like the Grinch and those drums hitting his skull. But there we were, Dad and I, and those bobbing singers on stage, the family glittering all over. After all, this was 1977, the year of Star Wars and skateway roller skating birthday parties. And my dad was taking me so I could be intergalactic cool. I don't know. I remember I don't say it very loud. What was your first concert? You know, you could say the Stones or Osmond. I went to the Osmonds. All right. So let's try a different one. Okay, let's change gears here. Okay, we got the first one out. And here's a different one. Let's change the gears and we're going to go into, let's think of that first book, that first story that was ever read to you. And who was it? Was it mom, dad, grandma, grandpa, big sister, big brother? And, you know, describe what, like, we're all writers, but something at that moment was like it sparked something in us to keep, and how and why we want to pass that kind of a feeling along. So I don't know, we're writers, we're poets, we're short story writers, we're, you know, screenplays. But that first book, you remember where it was? Was it at the library? Was it in the, was it at the room? Was it at school? Where was that first book? Or the first one that you can remember? The first one, you know, that did someone read out loud to you at night? Because that's magic. Let's give it a whirl. We'll give it a little more time here. Alrighty. Anyone want to give that one a try? John, yes.
Yeah, okay.
Okay.
So the first book that was read to me was the Bible. This is a Bible one.
Okay.
Mom used to read the Bible at us during meal times. Dad would boil a fish or make us tacos with sweet pickle relish instead of salsa. And Mom would do a deep dive into Revelation or Job. And life for Job seemed to just get worse and worse. Afterwards, sometimes we'd have ice cream and I'd go out back and look up into the sky and wait for the end times. I think Job got better than he deserved.
Oh, oh, John. That brought, woo. Good job, John.
We've got
Anybody else want?
I would like to.
I know. You'd like to try? Yeah, Aruni. I see Aruni's hand and I see Marianne. So we're gonna get, this is good. So this got people going. I know, the first book. Okay, Aruni.
It was almost like Miss Marianne on Romper Room. I see a Rooney, I see Marianne. At 3 years old, I refused to sleep until one of my parents has read me Goldilocks and the Three Bears. This is our nightly ritual. I never ask for a different story. I insist on drifting to sleep with the details of the porridge, the chairs, the tiniest bed swirling in my small ears. When my weary parents try to fast track my bedtime ritual by skipping over details, I wake up and correct them. No, Tati, first she sits in Papa Bear's chair. No, Ummi, you forgot to say that Baby Bear's porridge was just right. I do not cotton to any shortchanging of my nightly dose of Goldilocks and her forest escapades. My parents are perplexed at why this tale of a small blonde on a crime spree has captured my imagination.
Awesome. Awesome. Oh,
That's even better after reading your poem. So yeah. Yes.
how about,
Okay.
thank you, Aruni. That was wonderful. How about Marianne?
Okay. It's like I can see from the opposite wall, watching all of us clamoring, gathering around Mom. She had placed a kitchen chair in the living room, opened Brer Rabbit, and it was like a magnet for my 6 brothers and me. We took turns stealing glances at the large pages, the tawny rabbit, and the words that Mom read. The boys playing basketball stopped. My brothers playing guitar put their instruments down. The sudden quiet alerted me to something I had to witness, and I came out of my room to see Mom sitting down, book open, reading Brer Rabbit once again. The book might have appeared after my 3rd grade teacher, Mrs. Guerra, paid us a visit. I thought I was in trouble. Mrs. Guerra, her hair cropped short as if she could put on a nun's habit at a moment's notice, rarely smiled, and on her visit, she barely acknowledged me. I always thought I was in trouble, but the book appeared and Mom stopped her cleaning and prepping and washing and scolding and read into the night.
That is awesome. Oh, I love it. Marianne, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. That's what yeah, you know, like you never, oh, thank you. I needed this tonight. You guys saved me. I love it. I love it. Yep, there we go. Nina, yep.
Okay. I think it was the child-sized holes in the paper as the caterpillar munched his way through leaf and fruit. I enjoyed the flat book pages of the plums, counting without realizing it was maths. And the picnic spread, all that party food the hungry caterpillar munched his way through. My love for red and white gingham sparked right there as I lay in bed and watched the lamplight catch 3 pages, a flicker of miniature suns. For many, the butterfly reveal was the story, but for me, the caterpillar and its food adventure stole the show. That's it. Thank you.
Thank you. Nina, oh, thank you. Thank you for sharing. That was lovely. How about Perry? Do you want to try?
We'll see how well I can read my writing again. Okay. She broke my heart every night, singing as the sun went down. I never could understand why she held me so close. A mother is a sharp thing to love. She'll rip your stomach from your throat with the softest words, only because you know that behind those dulcet tones, her world is falling apart at the thought of her little sunshine, wrecked by the world she knows too well. The shadows and dark corners that only an angel stripped and thrown to earth can see. The tiny things that wrench our souls from our bodies with such violence that we can never be anything. But, and I don't know what the rest of it says. but gray matter, raining down on heads hung on babies' laughter.
Thank you, Perry. Awesome. But you know, like this is, I love it. I love it. It's kind of, I'm trying to get that feeling of when we were at the planetarium, sitting around the campfire, you know, reading stories.
Yeah.
Anyone else there would like to give it a whirl?
Andrea put up her hand.
Andrea.
Yeah, I'll give it a whirl. Okay, so I said, I can't remember. I can't remember anyone ever reading to me, but I did read books alone, and as my thoughts read the words aloud, new possibilities of worlds would emerge. I didn't have to be alone anymore. I had friends like the mouse and the motorcycle, and once I got older, Harry, Ron, and Hermione would keep me company during the darkest of times. With multiple books that were multiple worlds, I could escape to and watch the stories unfold, stories that would make me into who I am today. I really appreciate books, like books for what they can do. Yeah.
You know, I love books. I love them. I love them. I love them. And, and I want this one and this one and this one.
It's so difficult not to leave with a stack of like 10 of them.
It's true. Anybody else want to give a try? That was great, Andrea. Thank you.
Thank you.
Oh, Edna has a
I can
finger.
read. Yeah, just a little. Okay. It must have been Mum, although Dad was the avid reader. Every meal, his face turned into a book cover. I only glimpsed and saw his eyes when he turned the pages. But it must have been Mum who read to me. Names like Doolittle and Limpopo and the rhyming Pluto dog. She sat by my bed and read. I don't remember when and what and how, with 2 babies to care and Dad coming late. But I know she did, till came the day when I called her to come with paper and pen so she could write the story I was reading to her from my head.
Oh,
That's true.
That's great. And do I say thank you? And that was wonderful. Robin, I saw your hand up too. Is that right?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
We're here.
Eugene Field was my first muse and inspiration to be a writer. The Rockabye Lady from Hushabye Street and Winkin' Blinkin' and Nod fascinated me with their strong senses of rhythm and words that I didn't just hear, but that became pictures in my head. The idea of the Rockabye Lady wearing a veil festooned with poppies intrigued me to no end. These poems were from the Best in Children's Book series that was quite popular in the late 1950s and early 60s. And my mother read those books to me every night.
Thank you, Robin. I love it. Thank you. Anybody else? And I'm flipping through to see if anyone. No, I don't. And I can give it an old pirate story. My father was Canadian, but learned Swedish so he could speak with his wife and their family. Growing up, we spoke Swedish in our home. It was this pirate story of a dark night and 3 men went out on a ship. They were rowing towards an island, and they came to the island and dug down to bury that treasure. And he would read it over and over and over again because I asked. And to this day, when I first went to Disney and rode pirates, it brings me back to his comforting voice and safety as I sat on his lap, watching those pages be flipped ever so carefully as my eyes gobbled the images, and they still remain.
Be fun.
Be fun. Good Swedish. Oh, okay. This is great. See, we got already 2 poems. Who thought we had it in us tonight, eh? So now we'll try again. We're gonna go to a different, let's try. This one is sunsets. And we've all had sunsets. And I'd love you to write about a sunset. I know the sunsets in Los Angeles are magic. I've never seen the sky like, it's incredible, the sunsets in Los Angeles. But it might be a sunset on that one trip that you took somewhere that was outside of Los Angeles, or that was, the first time the sun appeared when I was living in Wales after a month. and the sun setting, and I went, it's magic. There's actually sun. Because it went 30 days and it didn't, it rained for 30 days. And I went, I'm going to lose my mind. But no, and sunsets. So what was happening? What was, were you alone? Were you with somebody? Were you thinking of somebody? So sunsets, something around the sunsets, because we all have something with a sunset. And let's try. We're writers. We can do this. Give it a couple more minutes. All right. Does anyone want to try this one with sunsets?
I can go first. Oh, Daniel.
Let's do it, John. Oh, Daniel, I see Daniel. Yep.
Just to encourage everybody, it's okay to write a bad poem. The sun never waits. People converge on the lawn above the cliff without fanfare, gather in clumps of twos and mores or solo stands, awaiting the falling star which slowly touches the sea to melt beneath the tide, a pancake that pops a green flash and disappears. The now crowd gasps and moves slowly away.
Thank you. Awesome. Daniel, that was great. Anybody else want to try? Nina, were you clapping or did you want to try?
Anders, you've got Tommy and Grace both have their hands up.
Okay, Tommy and Grace, perfect. Tommy, we'll start with Tommy and then Grace.
Hello, let's see. I'll read the long one. You give me too much time, I'll write 3 of them. The day leaves us faster in Big Bear, surrounded by mountains, covered by the harsh white snow. The air swims in silence as I step in the whiteness marking my path. And then a short one. Twilight sings in the night.
I love it. Thank you, Tommy. And then,
Oh, and then Grace.
yep.
Everyone is so talented. Oh my gosh. This is a shorter one. I didn't know the West Road, but I chased the sun anyways, desperate to feel the curve of the earth under my tires, to wear down the tread and lift off or maybe crash. Make me into Yuri Gagarin in my founding vessel, or make me into the man who burned to a crisp to protect him.
Oh, that's wonderful.
That's wonderful. Thank you, Grace. And then I see Robin and I see Cindy too. So let's do Cindy and then Robin. And I see Shema too. See, there's lots. Okay, this is good.
Gosh. I searched the Airbnb site for a beach house on the sand. Nope, that didn't happen. You'd have to be a millionaire or a thousandaire, not me. The occasion was for healing of a huge loss in our family. Just my daughter and son. The loss was so huge, nothing less would do. I came across one condo on Ocean Beach. It said, crashing waves beneath the balcony. Yeah, sure, let's see. We all arrived safely in the evening. All three of us asked. The sun was setting on the horizon, golden rays mixed with purple and blue. It was a miracle to behold. And yes, the sound of the waves and that sunset brought healing. It was the cheapest deal, but so impactful. 5-star review.
Thank you, Cindy. And then we've got Robin and then Shema.
Did you see the sunset, or were you waiting or conjuring your own sunset? How brilliant were the skies of that setting September sun? How did it compare to those long childhood days in Georgia? Did the oranges and reds match the red clay on your overalls or your bare feet? In the Navy, you saw sunrises and sunsets. Did you even think about them then? Later, all those days and nights at beaches or lakes or mountains, what sunset could possibly match your last? From the hospice bed, the living room windows open, facing west, as you readied yourself to go, to be that sunset, to be part of that endless night, to enter into that wonder.
Thank you, Robin. That is awesome. This is awesome. Shema?
Okay, so I'm on transit, but I'll try to read it as clearly as I can.
Okay.
All right. I am talking to my brother in the living room. We both remember sunsets. They make us sad, even now. I ask why, but we both know. When the postpartum got bad, Mom joked about drowning us in the tub. I was too big though, so it was more trouble than it was worth. I can't remember a time this was funny. Our bedtime was 5. She called it quiet time. I remember being endlessly in the room, twisting Barbie doll heads, Woody's hands on plastic breasts. He remembers looking out the window, chin on his hand, holding his blinks until the sun's orange head held below the horizon.
Thank you, Shema. Wow. Wow. And you're on transit. Can I ask, is it subway or train? Well, she went off, but that's okay. She'll tell us another day.
It's in
Shema, you're muted.
Who, me?
Shema is.
Oh, Shema. Yeah, Shema's muted. Maybe we lost her. She might have.
Subway hybrid.
Subway. Perry, do you want to try?
have like a couple lines. This one was that I didn't get a whole lot for this one, but I got a couple lines. The sun bleeds herself on open fields, lapping her up with wicked green tongues, thirsty for iron and sweat.
You muted, Anders. You muted.
Thank you. I unmuted. There. Is there anyone else? John, can you see? No?
I don't think so. I could go.
I think so. Okay.
Okay, so this is in Sespe, which is, if you're in the LA area, that's around Ojai. Backpacking alone through the Sespe wilderness, this place of tarantulas, snakes, and condors, I watch the sun coming down over my camp and feel the isolation, feel the eyes of self-doubt, feel 10 years old again, until I speak my old mantra, the one that always brings me out of my worry. Tell myself that the only thing that I'm afraid of is inside of me. That everything outside of myself means me no harm, that fear and pain are born out of a vicious imagination. And I know that I'm right, and I settle down to watch the world turn orange.
Thank you, John. Awesome. And I'll try too. I'll follow you, John. Sunset in Goa. I was 23 years old and on the beach. The sun rose in the east, so I would go out and help the fishermen bring in the nets. It wasn't until the sun started to disappear over the tops of the palm trees that I knew. It comes around only every so often, when you're halfway around the world and you realize that the person you want to be with is so far away. And you sit around the campfire and some songs are being strummed and the voices are low but clear. Those same voices that tell you she's the one. It took another 30 sunsets to realize it was but a plane ride home. And we've been together ever since. You guys are awesome. All right. We've already got three. Okay. The next one. This one's a little different, but we're going to try it. The theme is kind of, we're at a table and it's a meal. And who's at the table? Which meal is it? Is it Thanksgiving? Is Uncle Harvey here when we don't really like Uncle Harvey? Or is Aunt Phyllis with her flatulence being a little zealous? No, like it's a table, it's a meal, because so much of our lives revolve around food and being together. And that's one of the things that I really missed, during these last turbulent times that we've been going through in these last, and I want to say Culturama saved my bunion last year. Like, I don't know what I would have done without Culturama. I actually saw people. I was tired of talking to the wood people that I was, every time I go out in the woods, la, 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 la. So a meal, and it can be Thanksgiving. It could be, and a meal. Okay. me give it another sec. Hi. Does anyone want to give this one a try? Yes, I saw Francis. I saw your hand go up. I saw it.
I'm excited about this one.
This one you liked.
It's a short one, but it just came so easy. Okay, a table, a meal. There was 7 of us growing up fast, and with no dad to help, Mom did her best. Oatmeal for dinner again, I whined, but I sat and watched to see my siblings if they left any scraps.
Thank you, Francis. That's awesome. Anyone else? Jerry? I think the mute is on. Am I correct?
Oh, yeah.
Yes, you are correct. You would think that I'd have that by now, you know, like after a year and a half, but we'll just pretend that didn't happen. Okay. Hungry lips gorge themselves on fruits and cakes and fresh pink meat, ripping and tearing with abandon, juices dripping off the sides of grinning mouths, dropping to the earth, mixing with dust and dirt, and sticking to the backs of our ankles, crystallizing like sugar shackles, chaining us to this last supper. Endless blood and body, and they will paint masterpieces of our insatiety as we rip into the soft fat of our something or other. I'm not sure what the last word is going to be there.
Thank you. Thanks, Perry. Anybody else want to try?
Robin has her hand up.
Yep, Robin, I see it there. Yep.
Okay, mine is really short. And it's called COVID Thanksgiving. Instacart buffet, card tables in our front yard, Sarah in her chair.
That's a good one, Rob.
Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah. Anybody else? Yep, Marianne?
Yeah, I'll read. Okay. The Avera opened the oven, pulled out a tray of meaty ribs she had been roasting all day. She turned them with her tongs, her apron brushing against the oven rack. I watched from the counter and I knew that 3 years of not eating meat were ending that day. We sat around the dining room table set with the tablecloth that Thealupa had embroidered with flowers of every color along the borders and a brilliant bouquet in the center. We sat, my Thea Vera, the oldest living sister of my father, who remembered traveling in a covered wagon from Chicago to El Paso and then to where the family landed in Phoenix. Thea Vera remembered so much and made sure to tell me the stories of those who were gone now, of how Tio Coco got his nickname, not from his chocolate-toned skin, but from getting sick from drinking too much hot cocoa when the neighborhood boys and the rest of my uncles made a pot of the good stuff down by the river. We sat around the table, my Thea Vera, my father, my Thea Henry, all gone now. My son, who I hope remembers this day as much as I do, my cousin Joanne, who cared for them all until their dying days, and my Thea Eva, who's here in body, but no longer in spirit.
Thank you. Awesome. Thank you. Anybody else? Cindy, I see your hand there.
All right, I guess it's called Christmas. Here we go, the usual crowd. Yeah, Mary is drunk one time a year. She loves eggnog and a little rum. Just don't walk past her because she will critique you. Nice pants, Beto. How about you buy a size bigger? Much too tight, mijo. Get straight legs. I can just hear her this year. Hey, mija, what's up with that hair? You know, Cruella's a cartoon and it's not Halloween. Get it together. That's not chingona. Stay away from Aunt Mary. She's drunk.
Good job, Cindy. How about you, Tommy? I think it might be muted, Tommy.
I got interrupted by the Panera Bread. They didn't have Michelle's broccoli cheddar soup. That's a disaster.
That's a disaster.
Really is. So I quickly finished. The kitchen strewn with food lining the counters and table. We file through, piling on turkey, green beans, stuffing, eye all the pies for later, gather at the football game or in quiet conversation, 2 at a time at the table.
Thank you, Tommy.
That was my, whenever we went to my sister's house, my brother-in-law always liked to watch his football game. So.
Oh yes.
Oh, I'm being paged.
I could share.
Yes, let's hear it.
Let's hear it. Okay,
Yes.
just hold on a
Thanks,
second
Edna.
for me.
Yeah.
Okay. By the way, New Zealand, I'm from New Zealand now, and New Zealand is in lockdown for 3 months now. Okay. Okay.
Oh, wow.
It's easing up, but I'll tell you later. Those were the days I cooked, they came, I invited, they arrived. The table, never elegant with an ironed white cloth, but laden with colors and textures and tastes. The host smiling with the joy of giving that only a good meal can create. Those were the days. Now the house is a mess, a space for solo dwellers that expect no guests. Pea soup overboiled, green foam covers the cooktop, half-peeled carrots. And here they are, waiting for me to finish my poem. Still, the three of us here will enjoy it. We'll call it a meal, and the flavor in our mouths will explode into thousands aromas from the past. That's a real-time account of what is happening.
That was good.
Yeah. Here's my carrots that I'm still peeling.
Thanks. And good. Wow, that's a long time. 3 months. Yeesh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But we are trying. We tried to eradicate it like we did before, which New Zealand was very unique that way. But we didn't manage with Delta. Not with Delta. So we are getting almost everyone vaccinated now, and then it will ease.
Soon. Well,
Very
thank
soon.
you, Edna. That's wicked. New Zealand.
Yeah. Even farther than Canada.
That is way farther.
Yes. I know.
Rudy has her hand up.
Yep. Okay.
When we were first married, Jeff suffers through my first attempt at homemade shrimp ravioli with scratch Alfredo sauce. I find a recipe that insists that wonton wrappers are as good as fresh pasta, and that pre-cooked salad shrimp are just right for this application. The ravioli are more Chinese than Italian, the shrimp pitiful in their cream cheese binder, chunks of scallions making the filling overly acrid. But the true disaster is the sauce. I get the roux wrong, the proportions of cream and butter are off, and my sauce is a color and consistency of wallpaper paste. I am near tears at dinner time. Jeff dutifully chokes down every bite, insisting that everything is fine. I don't think the way to a man's heart is through his stomach, unless you pave the way with Tums.
Awesome. That was good. Thank you, Arun. My wife's one of her
Still married.
workmates. One of her workmates is what's it called? Is her husband likes KFC, and she said, "Well, I can have KFC, but before I eat with them, I have to take a pill." So that's the running joke. Oh, you have to take a pill before you have the KFC. Okay. Okay.
What kind of pill?
Yeah, exactly. What kind of pill? Like, I know, is it a sleeping pill or yeah,
Edibles.
edibles? Exactly, or edibles. Anybody else? I'm gonna give it a Thanksgiving. There was this old black photo of my grandfather. He was surrounded by his 3 sisters, his wife and daughter, and they were crowding him. You can see that he's sharp in the knife. It's really sharp as those insults sent when he was in a mood. I knew what those moods were and would see him at our meals sneaking out to the car for a nip from that flask. My grandmother, so strong, looking out over her domain, her gnarled arthritic fingers pulling the meat from the bird, double salted on her fork before she popped it in her mouth. Ah, the feast of coming together in those cold afternoons.
Mm.
Wow, I don't know where that one came from. So maybe we can talk, ask some questions. Anybody?
How do you develop your prompts?
How do well today, I have to say today, I like some of those I really liked. I don't go and steal them from somewhere. They just kind of come today. I like the meal one. The meal, you can look at it. My wife said, "Well, why don't you write one about our first meal?" And I went, "Oh, I forgot. I could have written about our first meal." I remember the first meal I made, I forgot to take the water out of the Kraft dinner. So it was like Kraft soup. because I was reading the ingredients and I missed a step. So don't try this at home. So like you make craft dinner, it's probably the easiest thing to make. And I forgot to take out the water and drain it. So my wife said, "Oh, this is lovely." So yeah, that's where I get prompts from.
But isn't that the better story? Like a Rooney's, right? It's like those they're memorable, right? Yeah.
I made the
Yeah, I
worst
remember.
Christmas
Those are the-
lasagna. One year I made lasagna out of all ingredients we bought at 7-Eleven and gas station markets because we forgot that supermarkets would be closed on Christmas Day. And this was for my future in-laws. We still got married though. But like I had to buy string cheese because I could buy mozzarella cheese, and I had to buy canned spinach and cottage cheese. It was bad. It was like tragically bad, but they're like, this is great. And I thought, you must really want me in your family if you're joking. It was epic.
Aruni gave us a wonderful meal when things started locking down, and she brought that over to us. We really appreciated that.
I've improved with time. Thank God.
Or was it just that when we had our little tragedy? Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
Yeah. We
Food is love.
we lost our son, and Rooney gave us a beautiful meal. I forgot when it was. It's been a rough
Too much
year.
time has gone by.
Yeah, the time goes. That's what I'm finding. I look in the mirror and I'm going, "Who's that guy? Who's that guy?" You know, I still have the energy inside, but this has aged me. I don't know about you folks, but this has aged me a lot. But you know, we get through it. You know, we get through it. We had a whole bunch of lockdowns, like Edna was saying. 3 months. Holy Dinah, that's a long time. We had, I think, 2 months one time, but 2 months when it's cold, and that's not fun. You start going. There's no going to the beach, or like there's no beach. There's just snow and the wind howling. Any other questions? Yep, Cindy.
I have a question for you about the craft of poetry. I don't know anything about poetry, but it's fun to ride along with you guys. My question is, when I think of poetry, I always think you have to rhyme stuff, but I noticed in a lot of people's poetry that it's not really rhyming. So I know that sounds probably dumb, but
no, I know. Like there's all different kinds of poetry, and poetry that rhymes, and then it's not dumb at all. Actually, you're correct. It's I'm not very good at the rhyming stuff. I'll be honest. Like I wish I was better at it, but I just kind of write what they call like free verse and like capturing a moment, or capturing a fleeting, a taste in time. That's what I try to do when I'm writing.
It's called free verse.
Yeah, free verse. That's what I would
like
call
it. I like what we're doing here because I don't hear a lot of rhyming, but I find myself trying to rhyme something, even in what I just wrote. I'm like, gotta have something rhyming here. But you don't have to. So it's called free verse. All right, I'll look that up.
Yeah, free verse. How about Tommy? I see your hand up.
Sometimes it's in the pictures that you draw in the words. That's haiku is like that. You're actually just taking a snapshot of an image. Sometimes there's a musicality in the flow of the words. You use something, like where, John knows these terms, assonance and alliteration and things like that.
So in the words.
There's a lot of things that can create music in it with the words itself.
All right, thank you. I appreciate that.
Thank you, Cindy, and thanks, Tommy. Any other questions? It's great that we can all talk. It'd be like in a classroom setting, but we just have, we're doing the Brady Bunch here. We're doing the Brady Bunch.
Yeah.
Match game. Da, 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 da. Blank. Anybody? No.
No, I was just telling
Oh,
John I wrote
those-
my first sonnet, even though I insisted up until I wrote it that I couldn't write a sonnet. But
Do you
lo and
have
behold,
it, Aruni? Do you have it with you or no? Or is it?
it's on my hard drive. Let me see if I can remember what I called it so I can find it. Let me see.
We can hear a sonnet. I haven't. I'd love to hear a sonnet.
Oh God, what did I call it? Give me just a minute.
And while Aruni's doing that, if there's any other questions, that was a good one, Cindy. Like, because I know that, there's some. My uncle says it's not rhyming. How can you say it's poetry? It's not rhyming. He says to me, and I go, I'm trying. Like it's like, okay. Now
You look at other people's poetry, like the old Jewish poetry. If you look in like the Bible, they have the Psalms. They were using the alphabet. So each line started with a different letter of the alphabet, or like the Proverbs, where you're actually doing contrasts with the
I
Proverbs.
do have a Bible. I'll have to wipe the dust off of it. But I will definitely do some homework there.
You're awesome.
Okay, I found it.
You found it? Okay, let's hear it,
Yeah,
Aruni.
and it's in iambic pentameter. So that was.
Ooh.
I think I can die now. An American sonnet of familial designations. One week when I'm 8 years old, I call my parents mom and dad. I try to be like other kids at school. I practice terms they print on cards for Mother's Day. Rehearse the names they shout from down the block at dusk. I try on words like shirts that don't quite fit. The shoulders tight, the sleeves too short. I bend my tongue around new vowels I never use. The sounds too low, my lips unshaped. I find 3 letters scant, my love too broad to cup in words so short. My thought thee and me are too big to be contained in dad and mom. I leave American ideas of dear to those with narrow mouths who live on other streets.
Wow. Good job, Aruni.
Thank you.
Yeah, that's wonderful.
Wow.
That is wonderful.
Thanks. That was like my Everest.
That was my. It's worth the climb.
Thank you.
Would you all like a quick exercise to write your first sonnet?
Let's do it.
So we won't be able to do it here. You'll have to do it for homework.
Okay.
But poems are copyrighted, but end words are not. So go find a sonnet. If you want a modern sonnet, Tony Barnstone is the master of the modern sonnet, or you can go to get William Wordsworth's sonnet and just take the last words. Don't worry about what you are going to write. Don't try to impose anything. The words will draw the poem out of you, right? And so you just put a string of those last words and you just work toward try to make that word work. And either it will work and you have a great sonnet, or you'll totally fail and you have a pretty good free verse poem, right? So, there's no downside.
Okay, I'm gonna try that.
John, can you explain what a sonnet is? I don't think I understand what it
Yeah.
is.
Oh, a sonnet
And
is
also, can you put it in the chat because I didn't get it?
okay, I can do that. A sonnet is a 14-line poem with 10 syllables per line, so it's 140 breaths of air. And it's iambic, which means it goes da 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 in the scansion, and it has various rhyming schemes. In some sonnets, all sonnets have a volta, where you take expectation and you flip them on the head. You think it's going this way, but then it does this, but it's in different places in different types of sonnets. So if you know My Mistress's Eyes Are Nothing Like the Sun by Shakespeare, he talks about how his wife or his girlfriend doesn't look perfect. She's got wiry hair, she's got bad breath, etc., etc. And then at the end, he turns it around and says, "Yeah, but I'm not in love with some figment of my imagination. I'm in love with a real person." Right? And so you think he's setting her up for a punch, and I'm in love with a human being, right? And so that's what the sonnet does. There are different rhyme schemes, and just look those up. I prefer the Petrarchan sonnet for myself to the Shakespearean, but there's all sorts of ways you can go with it. Edna, if you can hang out afterward, I'll re-explain it. I don't want to go into all the detail again, but if you try that,
No, just what do you do with the last? I mean, you find the last two lines and do what?
You take whatever expectation you've built and you turn it on its head. So if you're writing a poem that feels depressing, you end the last two lines with joy. If it feels like you're insulting somebody, compliment them, that kind of thing. And the term for that is the volta.
The unexpected turn, unexpected twist. Yeah.
Yeah.
The volta. I like that. That sounds Italian.
It is.
Yeah. Of course.
Oh, but the exercise was to write a whole sonnet now, or
No. Wait for later.
Okay.
Take somebody else's last words and write to those words.
Okay, that's what I didn't get. Yeah, okay.
You got all the rhymes at least.
Okay.
Yeah. And then you get out of your head, so you don't have to. It's like, oh, I'll just play with this, see what happens, and then something happens. It's great. Does anybody have anybody else? Any other questions for Anders?
How's the weather up there?
It's a bit on the nippy side. It's going to be cold tonight. We got a wind chill tonight. When we talk about wind chills, you have what the temperature is, and then you add in what it feels like with the wind, and it's like, whoo. I remember the coldest we ever had up here was -72 with the wind chill. And the pipes in my grandmother's house were 8 meters down, and they froze 8 meters down, which is like very deep into the ground, and they froze. And you know what? The fire department, she said, "Oh, they're such lovely men." They would bring water and fill up the bathtubs for all the people because there was no way to get water into the house. But that's how cold we've had here, -72. And then I remember Grandma said, "Come on over. I need a bag of milk," because it's strange. We sell our milk in milk bags, not like in jugs, or it's weird. It's really weird because whenever our friends from Sweden come, or what's that? And I said, well, that's our milk. They come in like a liter and a bit. Then you cut them with a scissor, and it's weird.
Regional, or is that all of Canada? Is that just regional?
I think that might be regional.
Yeah.
I think it's regional and they must have, whoever the plastic companies must have muscled in and said, "No, we're using this now, not glass."
My dad was a dairyman once, so I appreciate good dairy stories.
Yeah, the dairy story. Actually, I stopped on my drive home today. I stopped at, it's called Kawartha's Dairy, and we have ice cream that we've always bought here but I didn't know where it was. I didn't know, and I drove by and it said Kawartha Dairy. It's the mothership. So I pulled in, and you could have the shake with whatever flavor that they had there. And they have, I don't know if you have this flavor where you folks are, but it's called Tiger Tail. Have you ever heard of it?
No.
You know what flavor it is? It's the strangest flavor. It's licorice and orange. Weirdest flavor. And it's very, it's, I don't know. No, Andrea goes, not trying it. You can have that. You leave that in Canada with your ketchup chips.
Those Canadians.
Those Canadians, eh? Like,
where in Canada are you?
I'm about an hour from the capital, Ottawa, or
Oh, yeah.
about 4 hours from Toronto, or 8 hours from New York City, or 8 hours from Boston. On that side.
Aren't most Canadians pretty close to the border of the US or?
Yeah, it's almost like a snow globe. There's 85% of us are right along the American border. You shake it, and we just, and for the longest time, we can't come in to shop because it's been closed for the last year and a bit.
Yeah, right.
So all those border towns in the States are like really having a rough go because the Canadians come down and get their orange juice, which is cheaper, and they get the milk in the proper jugs.
The proper jugs.
Yeah. So, but that's what's going on up here. So that's what I had for this evening, and I want to thank you all for coming out and being a part of it, all the way from New Zealand and then Riverside.
Wow.
I can't believe it's a first from New Zealand. I've never heard New Zealand. That's great.
Well, John have seen me before, and some other people from there. But such a stroke of luck that I'm here. I don't know. Hardly anybody would know. I do.
I'm glad you came, Edna.
Yeah, I think it's because of Selena. She recommended Selena, Diana. Yeah, she told me about it. Yeah.
Well, thank you, Anders. Tomorrow we've got a great slate of people. We're going to start off at 9 a.m. with Toby Harper. Toby Harper works for Red Hen Publishers, and she also is the publisher for Quill, which is a queer imprint for Red Hen. And then we have Linda Hogan talking about how to write about sex. And then Kareem Tayar is going to write about era-specific fiction. And then we're going to end with a reading from Romaine and Stephanie, and it's going to be fantastic. And I hope you all can make that. All right, so thank you so much, Anders.
Can I ask a question? When is
Oh,
the
absolutely.
clock?
I'm here. Yes. Yeah.
No. It's a very technical one. When does the clock change in US?
Saturday into Sunday. So it won't affect tomorrow. It'll affect next week.
Okay, thank you.
That's a great question.
Yeah. I'm waiting for it to change because it will be easier for me.
Okay.